I believe the role of the teacher is to mould, support, and facilitate the growth of young people into intelligent, respectful, and productive members of society. Although broad, I anticipate this belief will be shared by many. Yet, it is important to establish one's own meaning to this, and specifically, how to achieve it. This is my current personal learning theory in creating a positive and holistic learning environment. To ensure all students are provided with an opportunity to participate in a practical and engaging environment, whereby positive relationships underpin a personal connection to the curriculum that promotes an openness and eagerness for lifelong learning. The emphasis is on learning to learn and is based on Delors' 4 pillars of education for the future. It aims to implement creativity, initiative, and responsiveness in hope learners can adapt to a forever changing society. This is supported through promoting a growth mindset, whereby intelligence is understood to be developed, not some fixed, deep-seated trait. It focuses on seeking improvement rather than worrying about failures or mistakes. It is my hope that through justified teaching and learning practices, students will be able to take ownership over their learning behaviours and apply it to lead successful, productive, and most importantly, happy lives. As a role model to the students, I need to be active in promoting this notion of lifelong learning through my own practices, specifically being open to trying new ideas or challenging strategies that may enhance student holistic wellbeing and evolve my current theory. Here are my 5 overarching principles for creating a positive classroom environment conducive to holistic wellbeing. 1. Provide a safe, positive, and collaborative learning environment. The first principle is about establishing a positive classroom culture and is supporting 2 of the ATSL professional standards, knowing students and how they learn, and focus on creating and maintaining supportive and safe learning environments. The state and the behaviours theory to learning, appropriate behaviour is dependent on one's environment. With this in mind, I believe positive relationships underpin positive environments. Student-teacher relationships must be based on value, respect and care, and entail taking the time to get to know students personally. For this to occur, early behaviour theory suggests both positive reinforcements and consequences for misbehaviour must be used frequently. Whilst I see some merit in this, James Hatley's addition to this theory focuses on using positive reinforcements as the key motivator. It is a strategy I wish to implement as it promotes positive interactions. In addition, collaborative learning will be utilised. It supports Vygotsky's theory from the social situational paradigm, whereby social interaction is fundamental for cognitive development. Essentially, learning occurs first between people and then internally in individuals. It explains that learning developed with peer collaboration is greater than what can be achieved alone. The principle aims to instill confidence within each student, whereby the classroom is viewed as a safe place where self-expression and collaboration are celebrated. Using practices such as cooperative learning and strategic selection of group work, the focus on classroom interaction is based on meaningful relationships that promote a lifestyle of core values. Two, plan for learning that is engaging, inclusive, and reflective of students' needs and interests. An effective learning environment must be engaging, inclusive, and cater for a variety of learning needs. Students' interests, cultural backgrounds, and developmental abilities all play a role in learning and must be reflected upon in the curriculum. This is seen in Standard 6 of ATSL that focuses on engagement in professional learning. With a focus on personal growth and holistic development, this notion is embodied by the humanist learning theory, which is based on the needs and individuality of each child to discover one's own strengths. It provides various avenues for students to acquire content and make sense of new ideas. Yet, for this learning theory to be fully capitalised upon, the teacher must also take into account the cognitive theory, by which the importance of prior knowledge can be utilised to consolidate and form new ideas. In planning for this learning, a teacher should not just offer a standardised approach to education, but rather one that engages students on a personal level. It's imperative a range of resources and strategies are utilised when dealing with student diversity to enable active participation and learning for all. Such strategies could include cultural awareness, the 5Es instructional model, or individual learning plans for students with learning needs. Assessment will be reflective of this and embrace the diversity and needs of every learner, ensuring all experience progress in their learning. 3. Shared responsibility of learning between teacher and student to promote lifelong learning. This implies that in the learning environment, the input and decisions made by the learner and just as important as those discerned by the teacher. It is an ideal that is supported in Standard 3 of ATSL. Offering students a range of options when it comes to assessment, research, and investigation, students are provided with the opportunity to take responsibility for their education in a way that is engaging and stimulates each individual learner. The focus is on student-centered learning, which is grounded in the constructivist theory to learning. Allowing students to set learning goals that are smart by nature, students have the ability to monitor, reflect, and self-evaluate their involvement and performance, as well as reflect on themselves as learners and view the changes required for areas of focus. The ability to provide links and relevant learning sequences to key ideas will allow both student and teacher the opportunity to delve deeper into specific areas of knowledge and demonstrate relevance when it comes to cross-curricular content. In achieving this, students need to be actively involved in the assessment process, perhaps allowing students to create rubrics for a task and addressing each outcome prior to undertaking an assessment will emphasise the notion of setting goals. 4. Students to be challenged and supported to take risks to develop deep levels of thinking towards learning. This revolves around challenging students to take educational risks to develop deep levels of thinking, resilience, and understanding. Providing the opportunity to contribute to discussions and idea development without the fear of rejection, students can move their thinking beyond the confines of conventional logic and towards debate, complexity, and sophistication. The principle is supported in Standard 3 of ATSL. These efforts are to create expert learners for the 21st century, focusing on developing skills that promote being future-ready, entrepreneurial, and technologically savvy. Students can apply their learning to various situations or fields. It is reflective of constructivism, a theory that combines elements from the cognitive and social paradigms. It is a key component seen in positive psychology and the growth mindset theory, whereby students are challenged to embrace change and develop resilience by viewing mistakes as opportunities for learning and growth. Embracing this mindset encourages students to take risks, confront challenges, and it is hoped it will improve their ability to be adaptable for 21st century needs. To support this, assessment must be focused on the growth of the whole person. Assessments such as student conversations, inquiry-based learning, and peer assessments will help uncover the mindset of each student, providing a holistic view of the individual and their growth. 5. Continual implementation of a variety of assessment practices. Assessment is an essential tool in understanding the mindset of students, specifically their progress, misconceptions, successes, and challenges in learning. It supports progression for future learning and should assist learners to self-reflect, create deeper understanding, and evolve as expert learners. The principle is supported in Standard 5 of ATSL. Traditionally, assessments within the classroom were primarily focused on teacher delivery, rote learning, or regurgitation of information. Nowadays, the emphasis is on combining assessment into the teaching and learning process. The linear model and understanding by design framework, or UBD, are examples of this modernized thinking. The linear model has a simple approach to planning and teaching, with assessment only used at the end. In contrast, the UBD framework clarifies the importance of planning, teaching, and assessing has with one another. Whilst the linear model is not forbidden, the detachment of assessment should be questioned, as it almost appears as an afterthought. The UBD proves to be more effective as it highlights the role assessment plays in the process of learning. To achieve this, teachers and students must focus on the assessment practices for, as, and of learning. Furthermore, ongoing and varied assessment practices need to be used. Strategies such as formative, summative, and observational assessment embrace the diversity of a learner and provide every opportunity for each student to demonstrate their learning capabilities. The classroom layout should be reflective of my overarching principles. Although dependent on student numbers, room configuration, furniture, etc., I wish to focus on collaborative learning and building expert learners. Using the walls as a permanent space to showcase personalised learning, I plan to constantly rotate the structure of the furniture to encourage students to be adaptable and open to new ideas. There will always be designated areas for learning and small group stations to support collaboration. I think it's important to embody my own theory and take risks in promoting learning, and even allow students to plan the layout with me. To demonstrate respect and care towards others, it is important to establish a variety of class routines. Although many will be used, I wish to discuss two specific ones. Time will be allocated at the end of class on a Friday to summarise the learning that has taken place throughout the week. There will be a discussion where key skills, knowledge, and lessons learned can be identified so students can be self-reflective in their learning and be proud of their efforts. When problems arise or expectations are not met, class meetings will provide a forum for students to voice their opinions on the matter. Following from my personal theory, each student's opinion will be acknowledged. Through guided questioning, the collective will brainstorm ideas for possible solutions.